If a wolf attacks, there are only a handful of dogs on earth that won't run. Most dogs bark. Some defend. But a rare few were shaped by centuries of brutal selection, where hesitation meant death, and only the strongest instincts survived. A wolf isn't just another animal. It's a calculated predator. It studies, it tests, it isolates. It doesn't rush in unless it knows it can win. So when a dog stands its ground against that, you're not looking at courage alone. You're looking at design. Today we're counting down the 10 dogs bred specifically to fight wolves. And as we climb this list, one thing becomes clear. Raw strength isn't enough. Because number 1 doesn't just match a wolf, it breaks the rules of the fight entirely. But before we begin, we are Meme Dogs TV. Subscribe and let's begin. Number 10. Akita. The Akita doesn't announce itself as a threat. That's what makes it dangerous. Calm posture, focused eyes, no wasted movement. Originally developed in Japan for hunting large game like boar and bear, the Akita had to engage animals that could kill it in seconds. That pressure shaped its mindset. A mature Akita can exceed 100 pounds, carrying dense muscle under a thick, protective coat. Its bite force, around 350 to 400 psi, is respectable, but not overwhelming compared to others on this list. And yet, the Akita doesn't rely on brute force. It relies on timing. It studies the opponent, waiting for a moment of imbalance. Wolves often test their target with feints and sudden movements, trying to trigger panic. The Akita doesn't fall for it. It stays grounded. And when it strikes, it commits with precision. Against a lone wolf, that calm discipline can shift the entire encounter. But wolves rarely operate alone. And when multiple attackers begin to circle, the Akita's independent nature, its tendency to fight solo, becomes a vulnerability. It can't be everywhere at once, and that's where the next breed starts to change the equation. Number 9. Kangal. The Kangal doesn't need multiple attempts. It's built to end things quickly. Originating from Turkey, this dog was bred for one clear role: protect livestock from predators that don't give second chances. Wolves, jackals, even bears. Everything about the Kangal is optimized for that responsibility. It's tall, lean, and powerful, weighing up to 145 pounds, with long legs that allow it to reach surprising speeds. But its most talked about feature is its bite force, often estimated as high as 700 psi. That's not just pressure. That's crushing force capable of ending a fight instantly. But what makes the Kangal truly effective is restraint. It doesn't chase unnecessarily. It doesn't waste energy. It holds position, forcing the predator to come closer. And that's a trap. Because once the wolf commits, the Kangal responds instantly. However, there's a limit to even that kind of power. Wolves rely on teamwork. They attack from angles, distract, and wear down their target. Against that level of coordination, even the strongest single defender can be tested, which is why size and durability start to matter more. Number 8. Caucasian Shepherd. This is where intimidation becomes a weapon on its own. The Caucasian Shepherd is massive, often pushing 170 pounds, with a thick, heavy coat that protects against both climate and attack. But size alone doesn't explain its effectiveness. This breed was developed in environments where predators didn't just attack, they persisted. Packs of wolves testing defenses repeatedly. That pressure created a dog that doesn't break. When a wolf approaches, it doesn't see fear, it sees resistance. The Caucasian Shepherd stands its ground with absolute certainty. It absorbs impact, using its weight and strength to counterattack with crushing force. Its fur acts like armor, making it harder for a wolf to land a clean, damaging bite. But that same size slows it down. Quick direction changes become harder, and wolves excel at exploiting slow targets. They don't need to overpower immediately. They just need to outmaneuver. That's where the next breed brings something critical back into the fight. Number 7. Alibi, Central Asian Shepherd. The Alibi isn't just strong, it's experienced. This breed evolved over thousands of years, not in controlled breeding programs, but in real survival conditions. Only the most capable individuals passed on their traits. The result is a dog that combines power with awareness, weighing up to 170 pounds, but carrying itself with more agility than heavier Mastiffs. The Alibi can move quickly when it needs to. But its biggest advantage is its mindset. It doesn't wait for danger to arrive. It actively patrols, scanning its environment for threats before they escalate. When it identifies a wolf, it doesn't hesitate. It closes distance. That shift from defense to offense forces the predator to adapt instantly. And wolves prefer control. When that control is taken away, their efficiency drops. The Alibi thrives in that chaos. But aggression alone isn't enough when facing a coordinated pack, because wolves rely on timing. And if you can disrupt their timing, you can disrupt the entire hunt. Number 6. Tibetan Mastiff. The Tibetan Mastiff doesn't rush into battle. It controls when the battle begins. With its massive frame, thick mane-like coat, and deep resonating bark, this dog creates a presence that predators recognize immediately. Historically used to guard livestock and monasteries in remote mountain regions, it adapted to long nights where threats could emerge without warning. That's why it developed a heightened sense of awareness. It listens, it watches, it waits. Wolves depend on synchronized attacks. One distracts, another strikes from the side. The Tibetan Mastiff breaks that rhythm. It doesn't react to the first movement. It waits for the real threat to reveal itself. Then, it responds with force. Often, it doesn't even need to engage fully. Its presence alone can force wolves to reconsider the risk, because predators don't want unnecessary injury. But when confrontation becomes unavoidable, the Tibetan Mastiff's combination of patience and power makes it extremely dangerous. Still, patience isn't always enough. Sometimes, the only winning move is to take the fight directly to the predator. Number 5. Irish Wolfhound. This is where the dynamic flips. The Irish Wolfhound wasn't bred to wait, it was bred to pursue. Historically used to hunt and kill wolves in Ireland, this dog operates differently from traditional guardians. It's tall, towering over most breeds, with long legs built for speed and reach. It can close distance quickly, turning defense into offense in seconds. When it engages, it doesn't rely on brute force alone. It targets structure, legs, neck, areas that limit movement. If a wolf loses mobility, it loses its advantage. That's the Wolfhound's strategy. But there's risk. Its lean build means less natural protection. It can't absorb as much damage as heavier breeds. That means every movement has to count. Precision is everything. And against a predator as experienced as a wolf, there's very little room for error. Which raises the question, what happens when precision is replaced by raw, relentless aggression? Number 4. Presa Canario. The Presa Canario doesn't hesitate, it overwhelms. Built like a compact tank, this breed combines dense muscle with explosive power. Weighing around 130 pounds, it delivers force in short, decisive bursts. Its bite force, estimated near 540 psi, is strong, but more importantly, it's sustained. When the Presa locks on, it holds, and that changes the fight instantly. Wolves rely on movement. They strike and reposition, but when movement is restricted, their strategy falls apart. The Presa's aggression amplifies under pressure. Injury doesn't slow it, it drives it harder. That relentless forward push can force a wolf into defensive behavior, something it naturally avoids. But there's a catch. Aggression without control can be manipulated, and wolves are experts at creating openings, which is why the next breed focuses on something deeper, understanding the fight before it even happens. Number 3. Anatolian Shepherd. The Anatolian Shepherd doesn't just react, it predicts. Bred to guard livestock across vast open land, it had to make decisions independently, often facing multiple threats at once. That environment shaped a dog that reads situations in real time. It's large, athletic, and fast enough to respond to sudden movements. But its true advantage is awareness. It tracks patterns. It notices subtle shifts in behavior. When wolves attempt to distract or flank, the Anatolian Shepherd doesn't fall for it. It maintains position, keeping itself between the threat and what it protects. That control forces wolves to take risks, and when they do, the Anatolian capitalizes instantly. It doesn't overcommit. It doesn't waste energy. Every move has purpose. But even with that level of intelligence, sometimes you need something more direct. Something that doesn't just control the fight, but dominates it completely. Number 2. Cane Corso. The cane Corso is dominance in physical form. Descended from Roman war dogs, it was bred for confrontation, whether in battle, hunting, or protection. Its body is compact but incredibly powerful, with a bite force often estimated above 700 psi. But what truly defines it is presence. Before contact is even made, the cane Corso establishes authority. Wolves are cautious. They evaluate every situation before committing. And when they sense something that doesn't hesitate, something that stands its ground without question, they pause. That pause is critical, because the cane Corso uses it to take control. Once it engages, it applies constant pressure. It doesn't give the opponent time to recover or reposition. It closes space and forces the fight into close quarters, where its strength becomes overwhelming. But even this level of power and control isn't enough to claim the top spot, because the final breed doesn't just dominate, it outlasts everything. Number 1. Dogo Argentino. This is the complete package. The Dogo Argentino wasn't developed for a single trait. It was engineered for total performance. Designed for big game hunting, it had to track, chase, confront, and hold animals that were stronger, faster, and often more dangerous. That required balance, speed to close distance, strength to control, endurance to sustain the fight, and a mindset that doesn't break under pressure. Weighing around 100 pounds, the Dogo is lean but powerful, built for movement rather than mass. Its bite is strong, but more importantly, it's controlled and persistent. Once it locks on, it maintains pressure without losing position. But the defining factor is endurance. Wolves rely on wearing down their opponent, turning a fight into a test of stamina. The Dogo Argentino reverses that. It keeps pushing forward, refusing to slow down, even when injured. That constant pressure forces the wolf into unfamiliar territory, defense, and when a predator is forced to defend, it loses its advantage. That's why the Dogo Argentino stands at number 1, not because it's the biggest, not because it's the strongest, but because it combines every necessary trait into one relentless force that doesn't stop until the fight is finished. So now it comes down to you. Which of these dogs would you trust when everything is on the line? Did the Dogo Argentino truly earn that top spot, or would you place another breed above it? Drop your answer in the comments. And be honest, if a wolf was closing in, which one of these are you choosing to stand beside you?